With the countdown to the end of Chapter 3 live event getting closer and closer to 0, everything is leaked from the live event itself to Fortnite Chapter 4. But first, time is quickly running out here in Fortnite Chapter 3, with Chapter 4 only being a few days away, meaning our next battle pass is right around the corner as well. I'll be hooking up a bunch of people who hit the thumbs up button on this video with the Chapter 4 battle pass. So once you hit it, make sure you leave a comment down below with your Epic ID. Ladies and gentlemen, without a doubt, somebody at Epic Games is gonna get fired, because not only did basically the entire Fracture live event leak, and you'll never believe it, but so did the Chapter 4 trailer as well. But first, look how close we are to 4.32 million subscribers. We couldn't be any closer. It truly would mean the world to me if you could hit that subscribe button and be my 4,320,000 subscriber. Last video, I asked you guys to name this emote, and there's a bunch of people on the screen right now who got it right. For this video, we have a new emote. If you know the name of this, make sure to leave it down below in the comments. We've wasted too much time. Everything from the live event to Fortnite Chapter 4 is leaked. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Now, before we cover the biggest leak of the video that contains a bunch of spoilers, that for some reason seems to happen almost every single season. I have no idea why Epic Games can't seem to fix this leak so it doesn't happen again, but honestly don't want them to, because it always gets me super hyped for the next season. Anyway, our first leak, believe it or not, actually comes from the series of Fortnite toys. Specifically, I'm talking about those little Fortnite action figures that have been out for a few years now. Now, you may remember us talking about a free reward for the live event being the Zero Fragment back bling, where the description of the back bling actually references two different skins, one being the Zero skin, the other being the Fusion. We then pointed out on the packaging for the Zero skins Fortnite toy that it actually refers to that skin as a loop breaker. At the time, we assumed that the Zero skin was actually going to be a version of Geno once he enters our reality from the 0 point. But that's totally incorrect, because as you'll remember from the Paradise Quest, the loop breaker project is actually something very, very important that we'll see during this live event. It was developed by Midas himself all the way back in Chapter 2 Season 2. But here's where things get crazy. So Epic Games have announced some brand new loop breaker skins, with one of them being Peely and another actually being Mancake. Now hopefully this is where it starts to make sense, because we had a new Season 4 teaser that actually showed Mancake floating through space, the caption attached to it saying, "Oh, the bittersweet feeling of the world crumbling beneath you," essentially confirming that Mancake isn't just a giant stack of pancakes who owns the butter barn, but is actually a loop breaker who will play a big part in the Fracture live event. At the top of the teaser, you're able to see the syrup coming off of his head, essentially forming the number 4. And don't forget that, because it'll be very important in a second. Because here in our second teaser, we're actually able to see a version of Unstuffed Guff, with a caption attached saying, "A brighter day lives just on the horizon. Enjoy paradise while it lasts." And just like on the last teaser, you're actually able to see the number 4, this time actually tattooed on his chest. And don't worry, all of this leads up to the biggest leak ever. But first, to understand the number 4, you first need to remember that this event is supposed to be 40 minutes long, which hands down without a doubt will be the longest live event we've ever received. Parts of the live event will be a traditional live event like we're all accustomed to. Other times we'll literally have a nice little mini game for us to play. We'll also have actual quests that we need to complete during the live event as well. And in phase 1 of the Fracture live event, the Paradigm will actually be talking to us, saying some very cryptic quotes like, "One of us has to survive."
Amy, status report. One of us has to survive.
The status report the Paradigm was asking about likely has to do with the strength of the 0 point. When she says one of us has to survive, she's likely talking about entering the 0 point, which would obviously teleport us to a brand new reality. But as we know, entering the 0 point is extremely dangerous and leaves many people disincorporated throughout all realities, which makes sense, because then the Paradigm goes on to say this:
Zero fusion won't be possible until the 0 point has completely recovered.
Well, the Zero fusion is essentially the combination of every other map that we've been talking about, but according to the Paradigm, that's currently not possible with the weak version we have of the 0 point, since after all, the Herald has literally been draining its energy throughout the entire season. And this is where the first quest comes into play, where we'll actually need to help the 0 point recover by going around the Fortnite map during the live event and collecting a bunch of 0 point fragments.
You and the team need to restore the 0 point before anyone realizes how vulnerable we are.
And this is where things start to get interesting. So as we collect more and more of the 0 point fragments, 0 point itself will actually start to regain its power, and old locations will officially start returning to the Fortnite universe. And we know the first location that's going to return is actually none other than the Durr Burger.
A new part of the island has arrived. We've got dirt burger, people.
Now, I imagine this kind of like in Chapter 2, Season 7. We saw the mothership actually begin to abduct certain locations, and they would start floating in the air, except this time, the floating locations will actually come down from the sky and arrive on the Fortnite island. And you remember that mysterious 4 spotted in the Chapter 4 teasers, where those exact same characters were actually labeled as loop breakers. And you also remember how the paradigm says at least one of us has to survive.
One of us has to survive.
Well, I believe these loop breakers are actually going to be the 4 people to survive the Zero Fusion, because check this out. Epic Games actually posted this TikTok video that is more than likely a teaser. In the video, you're actually able to see Unstuffed Guff go inside of this little house, but then once he exits the house, literally everybody has been eliminated, and Unstuffed Guff is literally the only one who survived. But now, it's time for the biggest Chapter 4 leak of the video that not only has caused an Epic Games employee to lose his job for good, but has also caused them to literally be sued by Epic Games and probably cost him a ton of money. And this is how it happens. So every time Epic Games has an idea, they'll initially hire a sketch artist to kind of draw a rough representation of what that idea could look like before they end up finalizing it and sending it over to the 3D designers to actually bring it to life inside of the game. Well, check this out. The original concept sketches for the upcoming live event in Chapter 4 have actually leaked. In the first one, you're able to see a character standing there with the 0 point actually retreating into the ground. While in the background, you're able to see a weird looking panel of some form, and I'm pretty sure these are those different 7 panels we've seen located around the Chapter 3 island. There's also a good chance that this image could be taking place at the bridge from the Imposters map. That's not likely, because I'm pretty sure we saw that area destroyed in the end of Chapter 2 event. We haven't seen anything yet, boys. Our next leaked image is way cooler. Right off the bat, you're able to see that this takes place in relatively the same area with the 0 point retreating into the ground, but you'll notice something to the right of the character that should look pretty familiar, actually being the reality tree. It's not just the reality tree, it's actually the reality tree showing up through one of those 0 point portals we saw in Chapter 2, Season 5. The important thing here is that this portal was actually opened up by the 0 point itself, meaning all of the other energy waves we're able to see coming off of this 0 point likely open up different portals. Now keep in mind, we have seen this exact same thing happen before, actually during the Zero Crisis finale event. In order to save the Fortnite island, we needed to close up all the portals and then contain the 0 point in order to stop it from doing any more damage. But here's the thing, in the Zero Crisis finale, all of the portals opened up on our reality and led to a different reality that we had essentially never seen before. But here in the concept sketches, the portal literally opens up to the reality tree, which is obviously the exact same reality where all of Chapter 3 has taken place, which essentially confirms the area where we see this portal open in, as well as the 0 point, isn't located anywhere in our current reality, because instead, you'll notice in the background of the image, you're actually able to see a bunch of stars, which reminds me a ton of the Collision live event where we went from the ice moon and traveled through outer space to arrive in the loop. During this live event, we're not actually gonna be on the ice moon like we were during the Collision event, but instead, it's very likely that we're actually gonna be paying a visit to an old friend known as the Ice King, who I guess technically isn't an old friend at all, but instead an old enemy, since he literally covered the entire map in snow. Anyways, after the live event, the Ice King actually retreated to a secret base and began collecting items of power and things too dangerous to exist, which more than likely will be pieces of the 0 point, the exact same pieces that we'll actually have to collect to complete that quest during the event. In order to restore the 0 point's power and bring us into Zero Fusion, more and more leaks are coming out every single hour about Chapter 4 and the Fractured live event. I'm going to be tweeting them all out on my Twitter account at HomeGamesYT. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.